Shamai Elite Dangerous Chums, the Mandalay has been released for ARX, and I thought it was overrated with the way everyone was going wild for it in Reddit, but I was wrong. It is very good. Now, I've tested it in relation to exobiology as well as general exploring, and it's the best explorer in the game now, and it's a top tier exobiologist. I'm going to show you why, but first I'm going to show you the build. So my build is all exobiology related, so therefore we have everything for exobiology. Now, lightweight alloy, heavy duty, you want to go G5 with deep plating. However, I got away with G3 and I think that is fine, but obviously you want to go the best you possibly can if you're going out into the black for a long time. Power plant, I tried to get away with a 3A overcharged G4 I went to, and I could not get the power, the juice out of it, so I had to go G4 on the A4A, and obviously you can go lightweight on this, but I did not have an experimental. Thrusters, this is the most important bit. You want a 5A thruster, dirty drive G5, drag drives, and that is going to give you the best performance. However, it has amazing handling in it anyway, but as it's an exobiology build, you always want to go for the best thrusters. Frameshift drive, now it comes with an unengineered 5C, which is good, and you could engineer that to reduce your rebuy, but honestly, just get yourself a 5A and go increase range G5 mass manager, and that'll give you the best range possible. Life support, you want to go lightweight if you can, 4D, same with the sensors, lightweight 5D. Distributor 5D work for me. You could argue 5A with engine enhanced experimental engineering. Fuel tank has got a 5C. It's very fuel efficient. That fuel tank is amazing. Now, fuel scoop, you've got a 6A, which will be refueling you in no time. Makes it an amazing explorer. Guardian 5H FSD booster, which gives us 70 light years range. I'm going to go off the lowest light range when quoting range, because let's face it, it's never 76, is it? As I'm not going to YouTube you. Otherwise, if you don't have this unlocked, it's going to be 60 light years if you do not have this. Auto field maintenance unit, you need this if you're going to use jet cone boosting, neutron star boosting. So you've got a 4A on that. Now here's the most important part of the build. Do not ignore this. 4A prismatic shield generator, G3 with reinforced high cap. Now I put on a 3A reinforced G3 or G4 high cap, and I just destroyed myself immediately, and that was about 200-250 meters per second. Now I've hit a wall at 250 meters per second with this shield generator on, and it's bounced off no problem. I'll show you that in a minute, and I'll probably show you the self-destruct as well. Now if you do not have prismatic shield generators, I'd go G5 reinforced high cap, no problem, and I would also put in some shield boosters, at least 2 or 3, something like that, to give you the overhead, because you do not want to underestimate this. It'll boost at 500 meters per second, so I've not tested it at that speed though, so just bear that in mind, but it should be good. I'll show you, and you can decide for yourself. Now, a reason why it makes it such an amazing explorer build, a ship generally, is that you've got this repair limpet controller 3D, and you've got the cargo rack, 8 repair limpets in there, but you can obviously manufacture them out in space. You've got the planetary vehicle hangar. Now, I've never used this for exobiology. Don't need it. You don't need it for exobiology, but you do need it if you're going to go and gather some materials, because you need to synthesize some jazz out in the black. Empty internal here, class 1. You could put a collector limpet controller. We need our detail surface scanner, and we've got a G4 expanded probe radius on that. And in the hard points, we don't have any, but you could put a laser beam in there for hitting asteroids up. That's where you need your limpet, although you can always gather them manually anyway. But collector limpets always makes things easier. So that is the build, and we do have a point defense. That's only for Guardian stuff. You do not need that whatsoever, really. So that is the build. This ship is built for Supercruise overcharge. It seems like with every iteration of the Supercruise overcharge ships, they're getting better and better. And this one is probably the best. Look at the heat level. It's barely heating up. It will overheat. It'll get to like 4,200 C and it's not even overheating then. And also look at the fuel usage. It's very small indeed. So it's very efficient in Supercruise overcharge. It's quite a cool ship as well, so even if you're just fuel scooping in standard Supercruise, you can actually charge your hyperdrive while doing that, just like the Dolphin. So it's one of the best for Supercruise overcharge, which makes it far better than the Anaconda. One other thing that makes it far better than the Anaconda or the Jump Anaconda is the handling in Supercruise. So look at that, you can just put it wherever you want. So if you overshoot and do the loop of doom, then you can get back on track really easy. When it comes to flying around on the planets, it's really nice. Now this is in VR, so the quality is not going to be as good as the other videos, but look at the mountains, how close you can get and how forgiving it is. You can really turn on a pin, and it's a good place to learn how to fly these ships. The good old Mandalay, and it flies like a much smaller ship, if I'm quite honest. It's got to be one of the best medium ships for doing this kind of business, for hooning around. The boost, I mean, we're not using boost now, we're running close to 200 meters per second, but we'll take a bump as well, just to show you a bit of a bump. Now this is with the 4A prismatic shield, and takes a bump at about 200 meters per second, and that's down to 59% to give you an idea of how well those shields hold. But the fun thing about it is the noise it makes when you boost. So you hear the boost, and you see the feeling of that is very nice. Reaching just above 500 meters per second in boost is excellent. The forward view's pretty decent, but you need to tilt downwards to be able to make the most of it. And this little peepee window, it's probably only useful for your landings rather than actually finding your specimens of your biology. And as you can tell, it can land on the flat. This is what you all tuned in for, looking what kind of rocky terrain this ship can land on. So it's not really challenging it here, but it's in the outside view, so I'm obviously going for the easy one there. So let's try something more tricky, more into the mountains there. So sometimes you just have to jiggle around a little bit, but most of the time it doesn't take very long at all. So let's try another one, and a bit more deep in the mountains here, and a bit of a jiggle. Let's get out and have a look and see what kind of footprints we've made on that one. So not too bad, it's just between the rocks, and if you look at the triangular landing gear, it's just fitting there. And look at the wing now, look at how low the wings get towards the rock. So you've just got to be careful with the wing orientation sometimes to make sure you don't ding the wing. Another reason to have decent shields, but that's the way it works. Another landing, this is on the slope I think, so notice how I've aligned the wings just in that little shape where it fits between the rocks. So as we get out we'll see that. So looking back you can see the wings are perfectly aligned with the rocks either side, and that's really the way to do it. So I'll try another mountain landing to give you an idea of how it does. Now just bear in mind that the Viper 4 and the Eagle, that kind of business, are going to land in much tighter spaces, but this is reasonable for mountains as long as you choose your spot. Here's another landing, so this was a pretty good one to get some Fruxtelidae metallicus, and you can see it's almost levitating there. You can use auto landing as well, but I never use auto landing and it works fine. Oh, one other thing I should point out is that you can't get in at this door. How hilarious is that? It completely breaks the immersion. So that just about does the landings really. It's a decent space plane for landings, and for that reason it's got to be in the top 5 of exobiology ships. Remember that video I did? You may not have seen it. Top 5 exobiology. I'd probably place this above the DBX, and I don't know, it's hard to tell. I need to do more really deep landings, but the only ships that are going to beat it are the likes of the Eagle, Sidewinder, Viper Mk4, perhaps even the Hauler, but none of them have the jump range, and when combined with the cool heat signature, it has so much more going for it. I'm not going to rush out and replace the Viper Mk4 as my main exobiology ship yet, but I will be using the Mandalay for Stratum Tectonicas collecting to replace the DBX in that role. And I meant to include failed landings in this video as well, but I didn't make any. It somehow did okay, which I don't understand, as it should have a slightly larger footprint than the DBX and the Dolphin, but it didn't seem that way. So I'll do another video on more complex landings if I can get better examples to give you more of an idea of where this ship struggles. But I'll link these in the description if and when I do them. But meanwhile, I'll leave you my ultimate exobiology guide and then the top 5 exobiology ships videos to use at your pleasure. And so, in conclusion, this is, for your money, the best explorer in the game. You need to acquire this ship at some point if you want to make a serious trip into the black. And if you actually pay money, as in ARX, for it, well, I'll leave that up to you. Drop any questions down below, but thank you very much for watching.